welcome to Curryly, present to you by IndiaIntracts.com and Sulekha.com. Myself, Levin Johnson, and I've got Arjun here to assist me. Today's recipe is going to be the ever-favorite Gulab jamun. What is very important here is the syrup and the consistency of the gulab jamun itself. Quickly run through the ingredients. Half a kilo of khoya here, 125 grams of paneer, 125 grams of maida, 5 grams of cardamom powder, ghee just to fry, baking soda, just half a teaspoon. Then for the syrup, we need sugar syrup, a few whole cardamoms, 1 gram of kesar powder. Before we get on with the gulab jamun, let's get the syrup ready. That's 1 glass. That's 1 glass and 3/4. So it's 1:2 ratio. You can just drop in some pounded cardamom, kesar powder there. Put it on a really slow flame, and you could leave it for the next 10 to 12 minutes. First, we're going to work on the khoya here. You got to make sure that you don't have any lumps here. So look for the lumps. Using your palm, you could just rub it on. Next thing that's going in here is the paneer. The two things where you could actually add paneer here, it's an optional thing, but not just that it's going to bulk up the amount that you're going to make, it also incorporates air, and it is much lighter. The gulab jamuns are much lighter when you add in paneer, and it's also inexpensive. It's not as expensive as khoya. So you could add in 125 grams of paneer to a ratio of 600 grams of khoya. Just a pinch of baking powder here, just to make it light, and then the maida, cardamom powder. Maida, try to hold it back depending on how wet your khoya is. Basically, you want to make balls, so that's the kind of consistency you really want, but you don't really want to toughen the khoya. After you put in the baking powder and the maida, this is the consistency you really want. Nice and fluffy, and at the same time, when you try to roll it, it should be a nice even ball, not sticking to your palm. And that's how you want it. If you got the ratio of 2:1, that's 2 of sugar and 1 of the water. That's the syrup you get, and that's just perfect. I mean, it shouldn't be too watery, it should just be gluey enough there. And you could just switch it off and let it rest. So we could do it just in ghee, or you could do a mix of oil and ghee here to fry your gulab jamuns. After you roll it to the size, just take it really close to the oil and just drop it in. This is the color it needs to be when you have to take it out, and just drop it gently in the syrup. After that's been soaking for say 15 minutes, you could gently lift it up and put it on a bowl like this, flatten it, make sure it doesn't overlap one on top of the other, because they're really soft, so it needs to be spread out, and just enough syrup to cover it, or maybe half of it is covered. But this is how much it needs to soak. The whole bowls have to soak fully in the syrup. And be very gentle with this, because it does soak the syrup and gets very soft. And after 15 minutes of soaking, the gulab jamuns are ready to be served.